All right, welcome to Wednesday football roundtable. We're going to be switching back to Tuesday probably next week, so stay up to speed on that. First of all, thank you all for being here, and remember to like, share, subscribe, and notify for all of our latest content. Tonight, I'm with Dave Lodick, and still with the KKK, and Eric. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, high school and football starting, which it's fun for us old guys. We get to reminisce, and we can kind of now direct them and watch them do their conditioning at the end, and not have to feel our hamstrings tightening up as we do the conditioning anymore. So it's a good time.
All right, very good, David. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. What's happening, everybody out there? Just want to say we are going to get fantasy football back up and running. We're going to do a little bit of changing though this year. We'll get more information on that to you. But yes, we are going to get it up and running here. I'm getting my league back together. I'm sure Jeffrey, Katie, and the other fantasy commissioners will be reaching out to all you teams shortly. And what's going on and what when we're going to start. But it is going to be starting because it is that time of the year.
All righty. Okay, so let's go over the news. There's been a little bit of news, but number one today, I saw that the Dallas Cowboys moved CeeDee Lamb to the reserved did not report list, freeing up a spot on their 90-man roster at this point. Personally, don't think it's a big deal because he's just holding out. But anyone have, David, what are you thinking about that move?
I don't. Again, I think it's more just for a roster spot. But I just look at Dallas's predicament. I look at where they're at, and with the amount of money that they're going to have to pay, to me, I mean, Dallas shot themselves in the foot. Really. And the sad part is, this is just my thought, is do you build a team around a quarterback or do you build a team around a wide receiver? And if it's me, the quarterback is the most important key to any team. And, I mean, you just look at the NFL. I mean, wide receivers can be a dime a dozen. Not that CeeDee Lamb isn't special, because CeeDee Lamb is a great wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. No doubt about it. But if I'm putting the money into any position on my team, it's the quarterback position. And you can have CeeDee Lambs and you can have Justin Jeffersons, Stephon Diggs, all these guys that are good, Devontae Adams. You can have all those wide receivers. But with a quarterback not playing up to par, your team goes nowhere. So do you invest in that quarterback or the wide receiver? So if I'm Dallas and I'm doing that, and with what's going on with Brandon Ayuk right now, if I could trade CeeDee Lamb for a boatload of picks, I would do it in a heartbeat because I'm not building my team around my wide receiver. That's just my thought process on it.
All right. Eric, any thoughts?
I disagree. I know that a lot of quarterbacks, we've gotten into the got to have big time quarterback to win a Super Bowl, but I think the algorithm to beating Mahomes is I like San Francisco's not paying a lot for their quarterback, and they have a really great team. And some of the teams that I follow even closely are beginning to build that model of strong offensive line, strong middle linebackers, putting a lot of money in different areas rather than the quarterback area. And if you can get a quarterback that can be productive enough to have a good touchdown and interception ratio and run your offense, and I think you can win a lot, scoring 24 points and allowing 15 points. So, but we'll see what happens. But I've seen enough big name quarterbacks. I've seen enough money thrown at these quarterbacks. If you look at the top 10 list of paid quarterbacks, outside of Burrow in one run to the Super Bowl, and Mahomes, none of them have really done anything enough for me to be like, oh wow, you have to have a franchise quarterback. So I wish Jeff was on tonight, but if he's listening and he listens to this later, you absolutely do not need to spend a ton of money on a quarterback. I think there's other ways to win.
I don't disagree with you, but I will say this. Brock Purdy is the exception to the rule. I mean, the rule is, look at, there's probably a couple exceptions. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Tom Brady was the exception to the rule. He was a 6th-round draft pick. Nobody knew what Tom Brady was going to do. Turned out to be one of, if not arguably, the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But again, I mean, those are exceptions. But the one thing that I think we do realize is Tom Brady being a 6th-round pick and him being the quarterback he was, that is the guy, that is what that team was built around, was that quarterback, having that quarterback. As much as we want to hear if it's Belichick or Brady or blah, 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 well, the proof is in what happened to Belichick after Brady left. And so the results speak for themselves. And like I said, and Eric, I'll look at it from this way, and I am in no way bashing Pittsburgh, but you know the talent that George Pickens has with the top-notch quarterback. George Pickens could probably exploit a lot of defenses. So I think the quarterback is the key position on any team. Doesn't mean you have to spend $65 million to have them. No, not necessarily. But the point I'm making is at the point where Dallas is now, they have no alternative. And if you're going to invest that money in a CeeDee Lamb, you're going to have to you're going to have to lose, first of all, because you're going to have to draft high enough to pick a quarterback of consequence. And the fact is, Dak Prescott, love him or hate him, gives your team an opportunity to win all the time. Whereas if you get rid of Dak Prescott, pay CeeDee Lamb, and have Trey Lance as your quarterback, you have Kenny Pickett and George Pickens, and it's not a recipe for success. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to counter your counter, and for the love of Sean's sanity, I'll keep it short. Mason came in and George Pickens took off and was a world beater. So you don't have to have necessarily. You've got to have better than Kenny. But you don't have to have a world beater. If I'm Dallas, I look at it this way, and I know this. We're not going to try to go into the other version of Dak up there north in your Canada team because they're really similar. But if you have a quarterback and you draft a quarterback and you make him a franchise guy, if you don't win or a conference title or a Super Bowl after 10 years, tear it down and rebuild it. Because after 10 years of not winning it, you can't just keep going on and on. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So I look at it like this. Dak's been there now 7, 8 years, something like that. If they can't get over the hump with him, tear it down, rebuild, and find somebody else to build it around. So I mean, in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised. Dak's a great quarterback. He'll be a good fit, but it hasn't worked in Dallas because they haven't gotten over the hump. And the same argument I have with other quarterbacks in other situations that are very similar to his, I'm going to stand my ground with that one. I'm okay with what they're doing. Spend your money elsewhere, build your team, and rebuild it because it hasn't worked up to this far.
All right. Just had to say one thing about, we just posted that comment by Paoli there, my man. But dude, why is your profile picture you cleaning your ear, man? I don't get it, man. It looks weird. You're cleaning your ear. We don't need to see that. Anyway, okay. So unfortunately, we've already mentioned Brandon Ayuk, and this is.
Can I just say one more? Can I just say one more thing about that, and then we'll move on, Eric? Because again, I just got to say one thing to you. You are talking about rebuilding, and Dallas is probably in that stage of rebuilding. They're going to have to be. So I guess my only counter argument to your counter to my counter would be this. Where can you get the best value in terms of assets and draft picks if you're a rebuilding team? To get rid of Dak Prescott for nothing because he's going to be a free agent next year? Or do you take a guy like CeeDee Lamb and trade him for picks if you are rebuilding, because you can draft another wide receiver that's going to be on a rookie contract for 5 years, and you can pay your quarterback, but you can go out and replace the wide receiver, I think, a heck of a lot easier than you can replace a quarterback.
John, have I become Skip Bayless where we're going to talk the Dallas Cowboys all night?
No, I'm just countering.
But we are going to be mentioning Skip Bayless in a moment.
Cool. Good. Cool segue.
All right. So anyway, okay. So we've had enough of that. The Brandon Ayuk thing. We've talked about this every fucking week for the last month and a half. And I'm sitting there today, and I just keep. NFL news, and it's Brandon Ayuk. They said earlier in the day that the Patriots and Washington are out of the discussion. And in pole position was the Browns and Steelers. And Andrew Filipponi, or whatever the hell his name is. Yeah.
Filipponi.
No, Filipponi. From 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. He threw out something that said that they have a verbal agreement. The Steelers and the 49ers have a verbal agreement to get Brandon Ayuk. Now, he's not really known to, A, have too many connections, number one, and B, it's like he's just throwing shit to see what sticks to the wall. Not really a great person to take, okay, this is money in the bank. An hour after that, Matt Mayakoko, whatever frick you say, from NBC Sports, stated at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that the Steelers are out. And it's back to the Browns and Patriots. Like, the stories going on with Brandon, I'm trying to make any kind of sense of it whatsoever. But it is changing by the moment.
Well, here's the latest I heard. The latest I heard was the Patriots were out that they offered Ayuk a $28.5 million contract extension. Average yearly contract, $28.5 million. Don't know the
top five.
Yeah, don't know the guarantees, don't know the length or whatever. The problem is that the one thing is Ayuk doesn't want to play in New England. So Ayuk, even though he doesn't have a no trade clause, he technically does have a no trade clause because he's basically allowed to negotiate, and if he likes the parameters and the 49ers have set the parameters for any kind of deal that they want to get done. But the Patriots, Ayuk really didn't like that offer, and I really don't think he wants to play for the Patriots. The Steelers, on the other hand, is a team I hear that he wants to play for. I think the only issue right now holding any of that up is what the Steelers want to give up in compensation for him, what the parameters of what the 49ers want and what Ayuk wants in terms of money and what the Steelers have to give up to obtain his services. So again, I think Ayuk's preference is to be on the Steelers. He likes Tomlin. He likes the coach. But again, I don't know if the Steelers want to give up exactly what the 49ers want back in compensation. And that just remains to be seen.
So, I maybe too much am the insider on the show on this topic, Dave. And I got ridiculed the other day when I told you what the holdup was. The holdup is They finally have 3 really good outside linebackers: Herbig, Watt, and Highsmith. And Herbig is really good, and he's really sought after because he's going to be really, really good. The 49ers want Herbig or Highsmith, and that would leave Pittsburgh back to lack of depth at that outside linebacker spot. Now, I will mention an interesting spot that Pittsburgh is willing to come off one of those guys. They signed Marcus Golden, not a great name, but he was the backup third outside linebacker last year when Herbig was a rookie and earning his stripes. So they didn't have him until last week, and they just signed him last week. So the indications to me is now they're more willing to come off Herbig, which it'll probably be Herbig, or Highsmith as the compensation piece. The other compensation piece right now is Pittsburgh is the second and Herbig or Highsmith, and San Francisco wants the 1. So they're working out through that. To answer Paloli's Michael's question, John's friend, I think the odds right now, I give Fields a 33% chance of beating Wilson now at this point. It's possible, but I still think it's low. So I give Russ a 66.6% chance of winning that. But anyhow, we're at on that trade. It's a 1, and it's an outside linebacker, and that's the compensation where they're at right now. San Francisco wants one of those pieces.
Well, it just keeps going back and forth so much. It's impossible to keep track of. I think it's all bullshit. I said the Patriots are the place he's going to go because they're going to pay the most, which is what he wants. But then, of course, he's like, well, I don't want to go to a team that's not going to be good. Well, dude, then suck it up. Play 1 year. And I did not realize. I thought he was a number 2 receiver. He's a number 1. Deebo Samuel is their number 2. I thought Deebo was a number 1. Stats kind of say that, but it is what it is. So enough of the Brandon Ayuk. I'm sure next week we'll be right back here talking about the same shit again.
I think if this deal gets done, it'll be done by Friday.
You would hope, because
I don't think it's going to last much more than a day or 2.
Yeah, like
if it's not done by this weekend, he's going to be a 49er this year.
Okay, well, hopefully something happens. All right, so next, Skip Bayless is now officially off the air. His last show was a week ago. As I've always said, and I will continue to say, that I, Eric, David, anybody listening to this program knows as much about professional athletics as Skip Bayless. He tried to come off as, I'm the best. I know everything. You were a reporter in Dallas. You had some inside ties to the Dallas Cowboy organization. I'm glad he's off, because what he said to Shannon Sharp, you remember that whole clip? That was complete bullshit to me. Like, how can you compare a career of a tight end to a career of a quarterback? Oh, he's better than you ever were. Well, we've all seen what happens when Tom Brady goes out to catch passes. So, I, for one, am glad he's off the air, and he can come on and have a shitty podcast like we do, and he'll probably have about as many subscribers. So our goal for this next year is to beat Skip Bayless on his podcast as far as people watching. So,
I think the one thing about Skip Bayless, like anybody else, is their opinions. They're not. Most of these people, okay. I mean, look at even the professional guys who do it. Even when a football player talks, like when he's on a show, when he's on a podcast, when he talks with inside knowledge of not only the players that he's played against, but he talks about what the locker room is all about. He understands the inner workings of the locker room. Okay. And that's nothing that none of us understand. We can think we do. We can guess we do. We can talk like we do. But we have absolutely no idea what goes on behind the door of the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room, Buffalo Bills locker room, New York Jets locker room. None of that stuff. Nobody does. And it's those things that we don't know that are all nothing more than speculation and guess. And Skip Bayless was a guy who gave a hot take that he wanted a reaction. Whether he was, and if he guessed right, he was a genius. If he guessed wrong, he looked stupid, just like we do on this show.
Well,
you know, if Eric says the Buffalo Bills are going to go 9-9 or 8-9 this year, and he's right, he looks like a genius. But it is nothing more than a guess. Just like if I said the Bills go 12-5 and they go 12-5, well, I look like a genius because I know what I'm talking about. No, it's just an educated guess. So again, I mean, most of those people do things to get a reaction, and when they get reactions, they get hits, and when they get hits, it's good or bad. It's like what do they say? There's no such thing as bad publicity because it's publicity. It's kind of like Nick Wright talking about Patrick Mahomes being the best thing since sliced bread. And sometimes he's right. And the fact that Kansas City's won 2 Super Bowls in a row, he can stand on his laurels and pound his chest. But it doesn't necessarily mean Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. It just means that Kansas City's a great team. But again, they're all educated guesses. And so do I think Skip Bayless oversteps and steps out of his line? Absolutely. Do I think Stephen A. Smith does the same thing? Absolutely. But they do it for reaction. They do it for, and that's what it's for. And if you take it for anything as gospel, then I think we're all fools. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, real quick, just before you go, Eric, by a show of hands, who's happy Skip Bayless is off the fucking air? Nobody? Okay, just me. All right.
I never watched him, so I don't care. Go ahead, Eric.
You know, love, that's the society we live in, and we can get into why we like to watch, you know, people like Skip. It's the same thing as watching Desperate Housewives or Big Brother or any of that.
Hey,
you know,
don't get on Desperate Housewives, man.
I know you're gonna get angry because that's your
man. That's my jam, man. That's
we like the drama, right? And he brings that drama. And to be honest with you, it's why I told Jeff the other night, I got a lot going on. I enjoy our bullshit. You know, and I'll say controversial things and I'll stand by it. Like, for example, I do think there's locker room issues in Buffalo, and I'll stand by it. And I think I'm right. But I say it for one, I believe I'm right. And you can watch human behavior, and it goes from all the different trainings that you have in your life, and then you observe human behavior, and then you see, okay, that doesn't look right, so I'm making a hypothesis. But you know, doctors make educated guesses every day. We as sports writers are making educated guesses on what's going on and what's the problem and why things haven't worked out. You know, that's just part of being human and doing that. As far as Skip's concerned, I'm sure he'll pick up podcast. And if not, he was what he was, and he got the ratings, and he made money for himself as a sports writer and became big enough where he had LeBron James and other people mentioning him. You know, love me or hate me, you're talking about me, and that's good for his pocket. So ideally, good on Skip. I'm sure he's different behind what he really is. But, you know, he had his time. The same way as Stephen A. I like Stephen A., but he says some just wacky crap, and he says it, and he goes nuts, and he smokes his cigar when the Cowboys lose, and he does that for publicity to get his name out there and people know him. You know, so it's just part of the business. It's part of the entertainment business, and you can thank our culture and what we've turned into, ideally. When in Rome, do as Rome. I mean, that's what this is. So I hope I see him around again, and I hope if he wants to make more money, I hope as a human being I hope he chases his dream. But he did well for himself, and that should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he got $32 million for 4 years. He did well.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it for kind of the news. But I got an in-depth question for y'all. So everyone's seen the Wolverine Deadpool, correct?
I haven't seen it yet.
Then you are a loser. If you were the coach of an NFL franchise and you were lucky enough to draft the Wolverine and Deadpool, what positions would you have them play? Do you know enough about this, David? Have you seen any of the?
I've seen Deadpool and I've seen Wolverine.
Yeah.
So if I were to draft Deadpool, I'd probably draft him as either a cornerback or a safety, just because of his comedy and his ability to get under your skin, and him lining up on a wide receiver or being like that just to get under his skin. And Wolverine would be a linebacker, middle linebacker, no doubt about it. Just because he's that aggressive guy that would just try to tear your head off. So that'd be my two spots for me.
All right, Eric, you got Wolverine and Deadpool. Where are you putting them on the field, man?
That was an awesome movie, and it was highly inappropriate. And I loved it because it was one of those movies where you could sit back and you didn't have to worry about being canceled, and it was just, hey, we're going to be funny and we're going to have a good time. And so I loved it, and it was great. I had a good time. I would put Wolverine at running back, and the reason being is he can take a beating, and he keeps coming back. And so he would heal up. I'd give him the ball 35, 40 times. He'd keep coming. So I'd have him there. As far as Deadpool is concerned, I think he's got the flamboyant personality of a wide receiver. And so I would put him out wide, and I'd throw him the ball. And I'd send him over the middle on a post pattern or a slant, watch him get killed, and being that he's immortal, watch himself build himself back up. And it would be hilarious, and it would be a great time. So, hey, it's a good movie. Go see it. Good job, 21st Century Fox. Oh, never mind. Good job, Disney.
Very nice. Okay. There you go, Pale. Cleaning that ear again. I would definitely put Wolverine as middle linebacker. I agree with David on that one wholeheartedly. As far as Deadpool, I'm thinking possibly receiver, but the way he throws those knives and everything, he's so accurate. I'm like, this might be a good quarterback. And you would never have to worry about your quarterback getting hurt and having to play that second string ball.
True.
I think Deadpool could make one hell of a QB, and you wouldn't have to worry about him getting hurt.
Sean, he was throwing dimes when he went and got Logan's skeleton. And he was just awesome.
See?
I mean, you're right.
That's why, I'm thinking quarterback and linebacker. Running back is another great choice. But to tell you the truth.
Wait a minute, Sean. Yeah, you're right. Mike is he has his finger in his ear. He wasn't flexing.
Yep. So I know what's going on. I know what he's doing. So all right. So that's that was a little bit of fun we got to have, and definitely going to see that movie again when it comes out on streaming, because I missed probably 90% of it because you can't possibly catch it all. Not that we're promoting anything, but that was one. So let's go. Oh, geez, Pale is going private message on me now.
Oh,
so let's go ahead and let's move to buy or sell. So, David, if you roll the intro.
Before we do that, I'd like to have everybody just take a moment to enjoy this video that Sean shared with me. This is what Sean likes to do in his spare time, and I do too. So I'm not picking on you, Sean. If Jeffrey was here, he would be picking on you. But I enjoy this. So everybody, let's just take a few minutes, step back, and enjoy some nature. Look at them hummingbirds.
Yeah, I have a whole slew of them.
I don't know how you could not get sick of watching something like that. Beautiful, beautiful, Sean. I'm surprised Jeffrey hasn't stopped eating dinner and jumped on the show and say what he likes to tell me all the time. But it's awesome.
He's out there enjoying Applebee's right now. So
yeah, he is. He's eating his riblets.
Damn right.
Okay, so let's go to
buy or sell.
I'd buy that for $1.
Need to buy it. I'm buying it. I'm buying it. I'm buying.
They're selling, Mortimer.
Look, lady, whatever you're selling, I ain't buying, yo.
Well, idiot! Get back in there at once and sell!
All right, let's bring up the slide. So I went through the NFL's top 100 player list. And I want to know, do we buy or sell these picks? I understand this holds a lot more weight for me than a lot of other things because this is voted on by the players. But I still have questions, and I think people just got kind of placed because after a while things get convoluted. So Tyreek Hill is the best player in the NFL. David, are you buying or selling that?
I'm going to sell this, and not because he's not a great player. And my problem is this because it's the top 100 players of 2023, correct?
Yeah, last season.
And so the minute they put Aaron Rodgers at 96 when he played 4 snaps, this entire top 100 became inconsequential to me, period. How can you have a guy who plays 4 snaps be a top 100 player?
Save it and focus on Tyreek. Save it.
But and that's my point. I'm selling it because the whole 100 players is a joke. It makes no sense. So I sell it.
Okay. I also sell this. I think, again, yes, he is a great player. Was he the best player in the NFL last year? No. He is uncoverable, and he constantly tortures people. But, I think that there's other people who bring better to their position. And I wouldn't say Mahomes is number 1. But the number 2, Lamar, had, you could kind of talk about that a little bit. And, I don't think defensive players or linemen get any kind of respect whatsoever when you're talking about these lists because people really don't know them. Eric?
I'm going to sell. I think Kelsey is the best player in the NFL. I would have gone Kelsey because what he does in line blocking and then in terms of the demanding coverage, he's probably essential to Mahomes. So I'm going to sell. I think he's up there in the top 5. And I don't have a problem. They're voting on who they think the best player is right now, I believe, not last year based on.
No, it was the top 100 players of 2023.
Last season.
These are the players just voting on who they think the top 100 is. And we don't know the judging, what their criteria is, just like we don't know what the Hall of Fame criteria is. So I'm going to sell. I'd put Kelsey there, but I don't have a huge problem with it like you guys do.
Okay. And Paoli makes a very good point. Mahomes all of a sudden didn't have the studs around him. And it turns out wins the Super Bowl. So, I think Mahomes was number 3 or 4 or something like that. All right, next one. Brock Purdy is ranked 28th at the whole league. Jalen Hurts was 15, Prescott was 16, and C.J. Stroud was 20. You buying or selling? Is that too low?
Oh, yeah.
I think it is too low. I think it's way too low. I think I put him ahead of Hurts, ahead of Prescott, and he made it to the Super Bowl, man. So Stroud had a great rookie season. But I think Brock Purdy at 28 is a little bit of a slap in the face compared to the other people on this list. Eric?
So I'm going to buy it. I think Hurts, I think he had an injury last year, but he has a different dynamic. He brings mobility. He stresses his defense different ways. Dak's he's really carried that team when he's been healthy, and he's put up marvelous numbers, and he should have been the MVP. He, without a doubt, over Lamar, he was the guy based on his numbers and what he did. So I don't have a problem with Dak. I think Dak should have been higher than Hurts, but whatever. And Stroud had a great year. I think he's too high, but I don't have a problem with putting Purdy there. I think Purdy is surrounded by a really, really great team, and that gets back to my quarterback argument. So to stay consistent, I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'm going to sell it. I think he should probably be. he should be ahead of Stroud because Stroud did it 1 year, and he had a great year, and he's a rookie, but he did it 1 year. Purdy's done it 2 years in a row. I think Prescott should be ahead of him, but he should be ahead of Hurts, especially at the end of last year when Hurts just folded up shop and that whole team did, and for whatever reason couldn't get the locker room back. And as a quarterback and as a leader, you have to be able to do that. And that should be a part of your ability to be ranked number 15 in the league of top 100 players, especially in the quarterback position. So I'm going to sell this, and I think Purdy should be ahead of Hurts, behind Prescott, and ahead of Stroud. And I think Stroud should probably be ahead of Hurts.
Okay. Number 3. Jordan Love was ranked 34. He had a good season last year. Eric, to you.
Yeah, I'm okay. This is where I think I'd have had Stroud. So I'm okay 34 because it's just one season. But, that I think it's fair. I'm going to buy the ranking.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. I think these guys, Love, Stroud, and them, they should be in the mid-30s because it's 1 year. And granted, Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years before he got to this point, but all in all, Jordan Love was a rookie. I mean, he had his first meaningful action. So, yeah, I do believe that's where those quarterbacks should rank. So I'll buy that.
All right, I'm selling this. I mean, Jordan did better than CJ, got further in the playoffs, did further in the playoffs than Hurts, further in the playoffs than Dak. I don't understand, and it's not because they were running the ball and scoring touchdowns on the ground. He was throwing them. I mean, he went to the NFC Championship game. You're gonna rank him back at 34?
Can I give you one thing though? Sure. And I will say this about CJ Stroud, and I think his rank being as high as it was, and I don't agree with it, but I think the one reason, and I think because we all sat there and we looked at the Houston Texans last year as another top 3 or 5 draft pick, and what that team did was amazing. So I think they looked at CJ Stroud in a different light based on what they thought Houston was going to be, as opposed to Green Bay's been competitive every year. And, so again, I think the ranking is right for Jordan Love. I think CJ Stroud is ranked higher than he should be. I think the ranking is about right.
Okay. All right. So here we go, David.
Sell this shit.
Not 96. He was ranked 92.
Sorry, I'm selling this all day long. You shouldn't have even been there. You know how many players were not even on there who played full seasons? The fact that he was ranked there, sure. He was a great story. He ran the American flag out on Monday Night Football, and 4 plays later, he's out for the year. Not a chance. I'm sorry. I don't know how many people put him in the top 100 just because of his "my name is Aaron Rodgers." Didn't deserve it, doesn't deserve it, and I sell that all day, every day.
It just was a complete respect thing, and it does show how the players in the NFL do respect Aaron Rodgers. But there is no fucking way he should have been on this list. No way. It's embarrassing, and may God have mercy on their souls. Eric.
If I had, so I don't look at this different. I want to see the criteria of what is it based on just 1 year and how they played. They don't tell you that, and I don't think we have the necessary information. If he's healthy, he'll be a lot higher than 92. But it's a respect thing, and I don't really mind. He is one of the top 100 players in the league, so I'm gonna buy it. I'm okay with it, and I think they're voting on who's the best 100 players in the league. And he still, if he would have been healthy, just probably win the division. So I buy it, and I'm interested to see what it looks like at the end of the year.
Well, I guess my only issue with it is They call it the top 100 players of 2023, not of the NFL, the top 100 players of 23. And that's my issue. If you want to say the top 100 players in the NFL, then Aaron Rodgers should be ranked in the top 5 or 10. If you're going to say in the NFL, fine. If you're going to say the top 100 players of 2023, he has no business being there.
Okay. And Eric, I'm going to go to you with this one. This is from me. Buy or sell it. Zach Wilson will start a game for the Denver Broncos in 2024. Buy it or sell it?
So they have the rookie next, and then Wilson's number 2, right?
Right now,
Wilson and
Stidham is number 1, Zach Wilson's number 2, and Nix is 3 on their depth chart.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I think, well, injuries happen. I think if he's 2 early on, I'm going to buy it. I think he gets a shot at some point this year. We can blame – the Jets had a lot of issues, and we can blame a lot of it. But, I mean, he did win some games. He didn't lose every game. He wasn't great. He can be a serviceable quarterback, so I'm going to buy it. I think he'll play start a game at least.
David.
Yeah, I think he beats out Stidham as a number 2, and based on injuries. But in all honesty, if I'm Denver, I'm playing Bo Nix from day one, and I'm not looking back. I don't think it does him any good to sit on the bench, especially with that team. He needs every rep he can get to be the quarterback that they want him to be in the future. But based on injury, I think he will end up playing. So I'll buy it.
All right. I'm going to buy this also. I just think Denver is going to be so poor. There's going to be injuries. Oh, wow. Paoli. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Nice one.
Or maybe the GM sleeps with his mother. I don't know.
Could be Shalom Paoli. I'll give that one to you. Yeah, I just think that they're going to shit the bed so bad. Stidham right now is their starter. He's going to suck. If it's early enough, they're going to throw Zach Wilson in there because at least he has a little better grasp. All I can say is that Denver has really, really, between the trade for Sean Payton and the Russell Wilson fiasco, they've kind of done injury to themselves, and I think it's going to take a couple more years for them to climb out of it. So at some point, yeah, he probably will start. All right, so next one. Okay, Applebee's all-you-can-eat special featuring boneless wings, riblets, and double crunch shrimp will begin a toilet paper shortage that will rival the beginning of the COVID vaccine. I'm buying this one. Lock, stock, and barrel. It is $15.99 for the all-you-can-eat special, and you can have all those things. Do you want to put your body through that? I guess would be the better buy or sell. But Eric, you buy it or sell?
God, this reminds me of some times when I was pre-diabetic. So I think I did this, and I didn't get it for an all-you-can-eat special. I paid for it, and then I paid for it afterwards. So I'm going to buy it.
David?
I've had riblets once. I don't eat boneless wings. They're called chicken nuggets. Double crunch shrimp sounds good, but double crunch shrimp at Applebee's, and not so much because it's probably like Long John Silver's in a box and they just like put extra breading on it or something. So I'll buy that.
Okay. Well, all right. Because, yeah, they haven't changed the oil at Applebee's fryers and since you were a young lad, David. Okay. So anyway, thank you. I just had to give a little shout out to Applebee's because you're eating hizzy in the neighborhood hizzy. So head on out to your neighborhood Applebee's, the official bar and restaurant of the NFL. All right. So let us go to wait a minute. Before I go to the schedules, because, I always complain every week that people put out stupid principal schedules that whatever. Okay. So sorry, Eric, but this is the Steelers. Now look at TJ Watt here. Okay. Either he's taking a shit, or he just watched the French pole vaulter miss that thing. What's up with that photo? What's up with this, man?
I told you. He's
Help
saying,
me.
please hurt my knee because I have to go pee. That's what he's saying. Just hurt my knee because I have to pee.
Hey, you can hate him. He's celebrating that he was higher on the list and that Eric has a victory than Josh Allen.
That's cool. That's fine. But he was still lower on the list than Myles Garrett.
True.
Just
All right.
remember that. And that probably burns Eric more than being higher on the list than Josh Allen. Is being lower than Myles Garrett. So.
All right. Well, sorry, Eric. I had to throw a little shit at you. So let's see who is gonna go first. Let's go, Eric. Win, lose. We're gonna start with the Dallas Cowboys. Week 1, they are at Cleveland. Tom Brady's first broadcast game. They winning or losing?
So where are the Cowboys at week 1?
At Cleveland.
Cleveland does not. I'm going to go win.
Okay, then they have New Orleans at home.
Win.
Then they have Baltimore at home.
Loss.
Then they are on Thursday Night Football at the Giants.
I think the Giants are going to be better than you think. I'm going to go loss.
Okay. Can you hear my cat in the background, by the way?
Yeah, I can. My dogs are in the background, so we can have all kinds of fun with that.
Okay. Then on Sunday, October 6th, Sunday Night Football, they are at Pittsburgh.
Loss.
Man, they are 3-2 already. Then they have Detroit at home.
I'm going to go Detroit beats them.
Ooh. Then they have a bye week. Then they go to San Francisco on Sunday Night Football.
Loss.
Oh, man. Then they have Atlanta at home.
Win.
I'm sorry, they are at Atlanta. I apologize.
I'll give them a win either way. I think Atlanta's going to be worse than Dave thinks.
Okay, then they got Philly at home.
Win.
Then they have Houston at home.
Loss.
And that is going to be Monday Night Football. Then they go to Washington.
Win.
Then they have the Giants at home.
Loss. Or no, they beat the Giants. They split. Win.
Okay, then they have Cincinnati at home on Monday Night Football.
Win.
Then they go to Carolina.
Trap game. Loss.
Okay, then they have Tampa Bay at home on Sunday Night Football.
So they're embarrassed by losing to Carolina, and they beat Tampa Bay.
Okay, then they are at Philadelphia.
Loss.
Then they have Washington at home.
So I'm going to say they need to win that game at the end, and they blow it, and they lose.
Oh, my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whole 7. Wow. You got them 7-10.
Yep. Well,
Oof.
I guess they don't need to win the Washington game after all, but we'll just go loss because at that point they got nothing to play for. But I think it's going to be a hard year. I mean, because I think Dak, the minute that he gets hurt, he'll stop wanting to play. So we're going to see Trey Lance, and I think it'll be a tough year.
All right. So, David, the Washington Commanders.
All right.
Okay. They are at Tampa Bay.
At Tampa, they lose.
Washington, I'm sorry, Giants at home.
I think they win.
At Cincinnati.
A loss.
And that is on Monday Night Football. I apologize. Then they are at Arizona.
Win.
Then they have Cleveland at home. Cleveland at home.
Loss.
Then they go to Baltimore.
Loss.
Then they have Carolina at home.
That'll be a win.
They have Chicago at home.
Ooh, battle of the rookies. That's going to be a loss.
Then they go to the Giants.
I think they take 2. I think they beat the Giants in New York too.
Okay. Then they are they have the Eagles at home.
Loss.
Then on Thursday Night Football, they are at the Eagles.
Loss.
Then they have Dallas at home.
Loss.
They have Tennessee at home.
Win.
Then they have a bye week. Then they are at New Orleans.
Loss.
Then they have Philadelphia at home.
Loss.
Then they have Atlanta at home.
Atlanta's hurting, man. Rondell Moore just left. I probably think he broke his leg or something.
He had an air cast.
Yeah. And their receiver depth is awful. So I'm going to say they win that game.
Okay, then they go to Dallas.
Loss.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 11-6.
6-11, you mean?
Yeah, 6-11. In the NFC East, it's easier to count up losses than it is wins. Okay. So, Eric, you said Giants are going to be better than everyone thought.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you got with the Giants. They are at Minnesota week 1.
Win.
Minnesota, they have at home week 1.
Win.
Okay, then they're at Washington.
Loss.
Then they are at Cleveland.
Loss.
And then Thursday Night Football, you had them beating Dallas at home at Giants. Then they go to Seattle.
It's a tough schedule, but I got a loss.
Then they have Cincinnati at home
Win.
on Sunday Night Football. Then they have Philadelphia at home.
They're going to split with the Eagles. I give them a win.
Then they go to Pittsburgh for Monday Night Football.
Look at you, Dave. Dave's reaction. I'm sorry.
They're going to win. They're going to be a great team. I lost. They're going to lose that one. They're going to lose.
It's at Pittsburgh, so I mean, give Pittsburgh the win.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at your sheet here, and you did have them.
Bunch of shit. Lost. Yeah, they're going to be so much better. They lose. They beat Cincinnati. They lose Pittsburgh. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, then they have Washington at home.
I give them a win.
Carolina at home on. Oh, they're in fucking London or Germany.
Brian Burns' revenge game. Give them a win.
Okay, then they have Tampa Bay at home.
Ooh. They're at home. Give them a win.
Then on Thanksgiving, they go to Dallas.
Oh, God, that would be funny to watch. What did I pick Dallas to do there? I think Dallas is going to win.
Dallas on Thanksgiving, you had Dallas winning.
Again, that would be an ultimate, like, Jerry Jones will fire the coach if he loses that game.
Yeah.
So,
Then they have New Orleans at home on
I'm a
December.
I think the Saints are not going to be good, so I'm giving them a win.
Then they have Baltimore at home.
Ooh, they're at home. I'm going to give them a loss, but I think that'll be a good game.
Could be. Then they are at Atlanta.
Win.
Then they have Indianapolis at home.
You don't even have to ask me. Win.
And then at Philadelphia.
Loss.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Holy shit! You got them at 10-7.
Yeah. Ryan Dayball, I think, is going to be in coach of the year consideration.
That's surprising. If they win 10-7, I'd be flabbergasted.
All right, Mr. Paoli, you can pick and I'll pick. So I'll let you pick first, and I'll pick mine. So
Okay, so here we are.
you're on the clock, buddy.
So they are down in Brazil versus Green Bay on Friday night.
What do you got, Mr. Paoli?
He's 7 seconds behind. Okay.
So Phillies at Green Bay in Brazil. That's a loss.
Technically, they're the home team.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Okay. And then they have Atlanta at home on Monday Night Football.
I think me and Michael both say a win.
Okay. And then they are at New Orleans.
I'm going to say win.
Then Michael catch up to me in a second here.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Tampa Bay.
At Tampa.
At
I'm going to give them a loss at Tampa.
Okay. And Bailey's got them 4-0. And then they have a bye week. Early bye week. That sucks. Then they have Cleveland at home.
Cleveland at home. That's going to be a tough game. I'm going to give them a win.
Okay. And we'll wait for Paoli to be here in a second. Then they're at the New York Giants. Jesus. Paoli's got them 5-0. At the Giants.
In New York, I'm going to give them a loss.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
4.
Paoli gave them a win.
Okay. Keep calling out Paoli's because I'm just looking at W's and I don't know how many there freaking are. Then on they go to Cincinnati.
I'll give them a win. I'll give them a win in Cincy.
Paoli gives them their first loss. Okay, then they have Jacksonville at home on Sunday Night Football.
That's a win.
All right, and then they are at Dallas. I got you, Paoli. Oh boy.
At Dallas. I'm going to give them a loss at Dallas.
My Paoli gives them a loss also.
Yep.
Okay, then they're on Thursday night. Sorry, football. They have Washington at home.
I'll give them a win.
And we'll grab Paoli in a second. Okay, then they are at the LA Rams on Sunday Night Football. Got you, Paoli.
Paoli got a win. I'm going to give them. Man, that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good game. I'm going to give the Rams the win, so I'll give them a loss.
You and Paoli both give them losses. Then they are at Baltimore.
I'm sorry. I got to give them a loss. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I agree. I bet you that one's going to get flexed out.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, Paoli's got him another loss. Yeah. Okay, then they have Carolina at home.
Win.
I'm going to just assume Paoli's going to do that, but he's still got to put it up.
Yeah.
Then they have Pittsburgh at home.
At home? Then I'll give them a win at home.
Okay, Paoli does the same. Then they are at Washington.
Win.
Okay. And then they have Dallas at home.
They split with Dallas, so I'm giving them a win.
All right. And one more for Paoli. Paoli is saying win. And then they have the New York Giants at home, last game of the season.
I gotta give them a win. I'm sorry.
Okay, Paoli gives them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Paoli has them at 13-4,
Mhm.
and you have them 3, 4, 5, 6. You got them 11-6. All right,
That's all right.
yeah, that's not bad. It's still good enough to win the East, according to everybody, which means the Giants are going to be second, according to you guys, in the NFC East. All right. So we're going to go. Eric, you get the Miami Dolphins. So they have Jacksonville at home, week 1.
Oh, damn. I was hoping to hear the word Buffalo Bills. Give me a win week 1.
Okay, then there are Thursday night football, and they have Buffalo at home.
Win.
Then they go to Seattle.
Loss.
Then they have Tennessee at home at on Monday Night Football.
Win.
Then they are at New England.
Loss.
Okay, then they have a bye. Then they are at Indianapolis.
Win.
Then they have Arizona at home.
Arizona's going to be testy, but I'm going to give them a win. But Arizona's going to be testy, and Dave's going to see week 1.
All right. Then November 3rd, they go to Buffalo.
They're going to split with Buffalo. Loss.
Then they are at the LA Rams on Monday Night Football.
They're at the LA Rams. Loss.
Then they have the Raiders at home.
Raiders at home. Win.
Then they have New England at home.
I'm going to say they choke and lose that game.
Ooh, you got to lose to New England twice.
Yep.
Then they are at Green Bay on Thanksgiving night.
So they're going through a lull. They got to figure stuff out. Green Bay beats them.
Okay, then they have the Jets at home.
So I'm going to say, for the sake of things, I'm going to say they will split with the Jets. So give them a win.
Okay, then they are at Houston.
I'm going to give them a loss.
Then they have San Francisco at home.
They upset the 49ers, who aren't as good as everybody thinks, and win.
Then they go to Cleveland for Sunday Night Football.
I give them a loss.
And then they have then they go to the Jets the last week of the season. January 5th at the Jets.
Jets win.
Okay. I agree with you there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5,
damn.
6, 7, 8, 9.
8-9.
Woo!
Yep.
8 and 9.
See,
Damn.
I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to giving real opinions, Dave.
So I am too. You're just funny. Oh, they're a good team. They beat Cincinnati. Lose to Pittsburgh. Lose.
There you go. All right, David. You get the New England Patriots.
Oh, Jesus. Loss. 1 win.
Okay, at Cincinnati.
Loss.
Have Seattle at home.
Loss.
They go to the Jets on Thursday night.
Definitely a loss.
They go to San Francisco.
Loss.
Holy crap. Then they have sorry. Miami at home.
Loss.
Oh my God. They have Houston at home.
Man, loss.
Oh my God. This is brutal. Okay, so then they are in either England or Germany, and they have Jacksonville.
I say they win. I say they beat Jacksonville.
Wow.
Hey, wait. Real quick. If we win, if the Patriots win in England, Did we win the Revolutionary War twice?
I'm sorry, but when Gronk made that touchdown catch and they did the soldier guard thing, that was awesome. Okay, and then they have the Jets at home October 27th.
That's a loss.
Then they are at Tennessee.
That's a win.
At Chicago.
Another battle of the rookie quarterbacks. Chicago just has too much skill. I'll take Chicago. That's a loss.
Then they have the Rams at home.
I think the Rams coming into town. I say they pull off the upset and beat the Rams in New England.
Then they are at Miami.
That's a loss.
Indy at home.
They win. They beat New England or Indianapolis.
Okay, then they have a bye week. Then they go to Arizona.
Loss.
Then they have Buffalo at home.
Loss.
Then they have the Chargers at home. I'm sorry, they went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
They have the Chargers at home.
Chargers at home. You know what? I'm going to give them a win against the Chargers at home.
Okay, then they end the season. They have Buffalo at home.
Loss.
Wow. Holy crap. 1, 2.
They're 5-12.
No, you got them. You got them 4.
4-13.
The hate in your heart for New England.
No, dude, I'm just being honest. That's not hate, dude. They lack skill positions, man. I mean, they lack skill positions. Team scores 17 points, it's over. I mean, and that's just the reality. They don't have the skill positions to come back. And if they can score 17 to 20 points on them on their defense, game's over.
Okay, so we're going to go on to my New York Jets, and Eric is picking, which means I will look like this at the end of the session. Okay, so Eric, here we go, buddy.
Let's do it.
At San Francisco, week 1 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think San Francisco's not going to be very good, and I picked them, so I'm going the Jets week 1.
Then they go to Tennessee.
Win.
New England at home on Thursday Night Football.
I had them New England losing, right?
David had New England.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give them a win.
Okay, then they have Denver at home.
Win.
Minnesota at home on they are across the pond. Minnesota.
Win.
They have Buffalo at home.
Win.
On Monday Night Football.
Yeah, win.
Oh my God. Then they are at Pittsburgh.
Here
we go.
Oh, here we go. At Pittsburgh. Come on. But
On
this is a trap
Sunday Night
game.
Football at Pittsburgh.
It's a trap game. They're going to lose.
Oh, wait. Eric's already decided this.
Yep.
He has the Jets winning.
Give me a loss.
You did. You chose the law. I am not going to let you out of that. Then they go to New England.
So I'm going to say New England's better than everybody thinks. So they go on a little lull and they lose to New England.
Okay, then Thursday Night Football. They have Houston at home.
So they come back because the New England game is the trap game, and they win on Thursday night.
All right, then they are at Arizona.
Now Arizona's going to be better. I keep telling everybody, and they're going to be feisty, but they beat Arizona.
Okay, then they have Indy at home for Sunday Night Football.
You know, I piss off the Colts fans so much because I always pick them to lose, but I think they're going to be terrible. So give me the Jets.
Okay, then they have a bye week. Then they have Seattle at home.
Win.
Then they go to Miami.
I'm going to go Miami in that one. I think I picked Miami to win that on the Miami thing, didn't I?
Miami, yes, you had them winning.
Yeah, let's go get Miami.
And then, okay, so I can fill in the last week here. Then they are at Jacksonville.
Yeah, so I'm not sold on Jacksonville, so I'm gonna go win. I'm gonna go win.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Then they have the Rams at home.
Win.
Then they go to Buffalo.
That's late in the year, so I do think that's going to be a really great game, but I'm going to give Buffalo a split, even though injuries. If there's some major injuries and Buffalo's missing anybody, they could get swept. But give me the Buffalo at home.
Okay. So 1, 2. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's probably got like 14-3.
14-3. Oh my God.
Fuck. Yeah.
I
give my objective, honest opinion.
What? I'm not a Jets fan. I think they're really good. They've got the best defense on paper in the league.
So do I.
And they've got a great offense because they've got a great quarterback.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the Buffalo Bills.
17-0.
But kind of here's the deal. Because Eric really wanted to do this one. So I'm gonna do both Eric and David on this one. And yes, Pale, you're right. I would have the biggest stiffy if the Jets win 14-3. So here we go. We got D&E. And let's see how these two go about it. Okay, so week 1, David has Arizona is coming to Buffalo.
Win.
Eric,
I got the Bills winning 20-19.
all right. Then they are at Miami on Thursday night.
Buffalo will win. Miami loses their home field advantage by not playing in 90-degree weather in the sun or 100.
Eric had them at the loss.
Yeah, it's still hot. They'll still lose. Then
they have Jacksonville at home on Monday Night Football.
Win.
So Jacksonville's played them pretty tough last few years, but I think it's a revenge game. So I got the Bills win. Yeah,
the Bills. Okay. Then they are at Baltimore on Sunday Night Football.
Loss.
Yeah,
Eric?
Loss.
Okay, then they are at Houston.
That's a Bills win.
Yeah, they're at Houston. I'd give it to Buffalo. It was at home. On the road, I think they lose.
So you're saying they're going to lose to Houston?
Texas. Yeah, I got the Bills losing.
Okay, then we got Monday Night Football. They are at the New York Jets.
Buffalo will lose.
Eric, I already have this one down, don't I?
Yeah, I got the Jets.
That's win. Okay, so then they have Tennessee at home.
Win.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I need to be quicker. This will be the biggest win they have all year, so they'll win.
Okay, then they are at Seattle.
I have them winning that game.
I got them losing. God, I'm going to be on the chat because Gino's going to win that game.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Then they have Miami at home.
Buffalo wins. Buffalo sweeps Miami this year.
They beat Miami and split with Miami.
So, yeah, you had Miami winning the first game, so they win the second one. Okay, at Indy.
I think that could be a trap game for Buffalo coming off the Miami win. But I still think Josh Allen is better than Anthony Richardson, so I'm going to give Buffalo a narrow victory, but I think they win.
Eric?
That was almost objective. I've got them winning.
No.
I don't think Indianapolis is any good.
Okay, then they have Kansas City at home.
I was objective.
Let's see how you are. They have Kansas City at Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo beats Kansas City in the regular season. It's the playoffs that they freaking go to shit. So I'm going to say at Buffalo, Buffalo wins 24-23.
So I'm going to go. They do upset a good team later on in the year, who I don't think is going to be as good, but it won't be this game. Kansas City wins.
Okay. Then they have a bye week, and then they come back for Sunday Night Football. And they have San Francisco at home.
Loss.
I've got them winning.
Then they're at the LA Rams.
Win.
That's going to be tough after the San Francisco game because they're going to win that game, but they're going to get beat up. So the Rams will win.
Okay, then at Detroit.
God, this is awful.
At Detroit, I'm going to say loss. They played them tough 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, and Detroit's gotten better. I think Buffalo loses that game.
I've got Detroit winning on Thanksgiving.
So you're going Detroit. It's December 15th. It's not Thanksgiving.
Oh, sorry. I've got but I don't care. Detroit.
Yeah, I think Detroit wins that game.
Then they have New England at home.
Win.
Then they have the Jets at home.
They win that game. They split with the Jets.
Now I have them splitting too, I think.
Yep. And then at New England.
Win.
Loss.
All right, David. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jesus. 13-4, David.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 9-8, Eric. All right.
I've been consistent all year. You can't say I haven't.
I know you've been saying that all year, and I probably gave them a win that maybe they probably might not get. I had them at 12-5. That's what
I think the Kansas City game is the one
That's the record that I predicted them at 12-5.
Sean, on the chat, did I not say based on how that finishes, Miami's 8-9? I think I've got New England somewhere in that mix, but I said it would be over by Thanksgiving for the Jets. I meant what I said.
I certainly hope you're right, man, because you will see tears coming down.
Hey, Piola, you have the Bills winning the division still, right? Because you're good at your picks.
Yeah, and okay, so right before we wrap up here, because it's getting late, we are going to be doing the weekly picks. This year, I am going to try to come up with something so everyone can fill out and email a form because it's so tough to keep track of what's going on here. Plus, watch the comments because then I miss things. But get involved. You can win. It's either going to be a hoodie or a T-shirt for picking the whoever wins and picks the most games right. The chances of beating me are probably pretty slim because I did smack everyone around last year. David knows most about that because I think he still got my handprint on his ass because I just spanked that ass. So, all right. So, last word here. Let's give it to Eric. Eric, you haven't had the last word in a while. You take the last word, my friend.
Yeah, so, this is exciting. Here in a week, we'll be previewing the Super Bowl of the preseason when the Bills come into Pittsburgh and they come for their annual ass whipping. So I'll be excited to watch the depth of Buffalo. But on a serious note, look, this is football, okay? And you have, because of the cap, you have consequences. And so you see teams rise to the top and you see teams fall back to the middle of the pack or lower because of a different cap situations. So, the idea is stick with your team. They've got long-term plans. They know what they're doing long-term. Sometimes you have to reload, even when you're Tom Brady, and you have to wait a year until you can get enough bullets in your guns to be able to fire the necessary rounds that you need to in order to compete for the title. So winning a title sometimes is the long game. It doesn't happen overnight. So, hey, football's back. If your team ends up being 9-8, stick with your team. And when Eric is right at the end of the year, just make sure you tune back in and you listen in to all the different excuses I get from Jeff and Dave. How I don't know what I'm talking about. I look forward to it. But I will be right. So be sure to screen clip this time when the Bills are not.
Don't finish your last word because I'm going to jump in real quick and then you can have your last word. But tune in week 4 when Eric's wearing his Von Miller jersey. Going to be custom made just for Eric. It's going to say Von Miller is TJ Watt's bitch. So, or TJ Watt is Von Miller's bitch. That's what it's going to say.
Oh, God.
So,
David, you need help.
I know.
You like not an $80. I got to see you once a week. Help. You need to get involved in the university level. Like you need a team, dude. Like wherever Freud went to college, you need to go there and just like, hey, look at me, Eric, finish it.
Hey, so anyways, it's competitive banter, and that's why Skip Bayless made it on TV this long. And I will continue. I believe when I say what I mean, I mean what I say. So ultimately, we do make those opinions and their educated hypothesis. I could be wrong and fall on my face, or I could be right. The Jets will win the Super Bowl, and I called it all along. The gratification you get from watching your team or watching your predictions come true is better than any gratification you'll get from anybody else. So that's ideally watch football, be competitive, go out there and participate if you can, and enjoy life. Football's back. It's a great time of the year. And fall's here. So happy Wednesday, everybody. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesdays.
All right. Well, from everyone from the couch, we thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, notify, and subscribe for all of our latest news. And we will update you on when we are going on the air next. It'll either be next Tuesday or Wednesday. Please stay tuned, and we thank you all for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.